The Tree Who Dreamed of the Sea. Chapter 3. The Friend. Suddenly Leafy found himself all alone again. Alone as he had always been, but now it was different. How could he be sad? She was thinking of him. She was waiting for him. She had sent a messenger. No, he wasn't alone any longer, not really, not with these thoughts to keep him company. But what friends? I don't have any friends except maybe a petrel and an old crow and a few ducks. But what could they possibly do to help? Leafy was thinking just these sad thoughts when he felt the river touch one of his roots. The wetness and coolness of the water thrilled Leafy and shocked him at the same time. And so did the voice of the river, which mumbled at the same moment, "And what about me?" What? Didn't I carry a message for you over thousands of miles? Well, yes, you did. Well, did you think I would do that for just anyone? No. That's the kind of thing you'd only do for a friend, for someone you love. This discovery that he was loved left Leafy trembling all over. Haven't I always stayed near you, Leafy, since you were a tiny seedling? But you were always rushing away, said Leafy. Yes, but still here too. That's the magic of being a river, Leafy. Always rushing away, but always still here too. Yes, you're faithful, said Leafy. You've always listened, and I always will, said the river. We rivers are great listeners, my friend. We run, but we listen as we run. Well, then, can you help me, river? I wondered if you'd ever get around to asking. You've always been so proud. Well, I'm not proud now, River. I'm desperate. I made a promise I can't keep unless you or someone helps me. Relax, Leafy. I've already begun. Don't you feel me touching your deepest roots? Yes, it's exciting, but what's going to happen? Asked Leafy. What's going to happen is your fate, Leafy. Fate? What's that? It's what you were born for, what you grew up for. Any tree who grows so tall, so close to the river's edge, has this as his fate, to one day fall into the arms of a river and be carried towards the sea. And even as he spoke, the river washed the dirt away from a new section of Leafy's roots, and Leafy, for the first time in his whole life, felt his trunk move a bit, just a bit, a fraction from where it had always stood reaching for the clouds. What's going to happen to me, River? I don't know that, said the river. I'm just a river, but I do know this. It's a great adventure you're going on, and I'm coming with you as far as I can. And the river continued to nibble at the earth, which had been so firmly packed around Leafy's roots. Didn't you hear that dolphin call me powerful? Even the strongest dolphin on earth gets tired, but a river never. Well, I'm lucky to have such a powerful friend. Yes, said the river. I'm relentless. I never rest. I never stop. It's amazing how much work you can get done when you never pause for an instant. Now that you've asked me to help, watch me chew away this embankment you've stood on for all your life. You thought it was solid ground, but to a river, nothing is solid. Even rock can be worn away by a tireless river like me. Look around you, Leafy, at this huge valley. Who do you think dug this entire valley? You? Asked Leafy in awe, as he looked at the wide, long valley where he stood. All of it. I meandered, I wandered, first to those mountains over there, then to these mountains over here, chewing up and carrying away all the hills in between. For someone who can clear away a whole valley of rock and earth, do you think a little embankment like this is going to be a problem? And now Leafy felt the wetness and coldness of the river's currents caressing more and more of his roots. Exciting, but more and more scary, thought Leafy, because suddenly it happened again. His trunk shifted again, not so slightly this time. It was leaning, and now his roots were all tingling from the caresses of the cold river currents. Leafy could feel the earth, which had held him firm and straight all his life, shifting and crumbling. And suddenly it was happening. His high leafy crown, which had reached for the sky, was falling, falling towards the river rushing below. And with a splash so loud and wonderful that he would remember it all his life, Leafy fell full length into the river. What a splash! Ho, ho, and what a tree you are, Leafy. Now just lie back and leave the rest to me. Here we go. And with this, the river began to tug gently at the boughs and roots and leaves of his friend. Leafy, lying on his back in the current, staring up at the clouds, felt as happy as he'd ever felt in his life. Look at me, all you trees, I'm leaving. You all laughed, but I'm doing what I said, cried Leafy. And this time he heard no laughter at all. End of chapter 3, The Friend. From the dream who dreamed, the tree who dreamed of the sea.